Module 5, Cryptography and PKI, Set 3. CA, Certificate Authority. In cryptography, a certificate authority or certification authority, CA, is an entity that issues digital certificates. A digital certificate certifies the ownership of a public key by the named subject of the certificate. CRL, Certificate Revocation List. In cryptography, a certificate revocation list, or CRL, is a list of digital certificates that have been revoked by the issuing certificate authority, CA, before their scheduled expiration date and should no longer be trusted. OCSP, Online Certificate Status Protocol. The Online Certificate Status Protocol, OCSP, is an Internet protocol used for obtaining the revocation status of an SY0-501 digital certificate. It is described in RFC 6960 and is on the Internet Standards Track. CSR, Certificate Signing Request. A CSR or certificate signing request is a block of encrypted text that is generated on the server that the certificate will be used on. It also contains the public key that will be included in your certificate. A private key is usually created at the same time that you create the CSR. Certificate. Computing. Authorization certificate or attribute certificate. Certificate, complexity, a string that certifies the answer to a computation. Public key certificate, an electronic document used in cryptography. Public key. Edit page. Public key cryptography is a cryptographic approach which involves the use of asymmetric key algorithms instead of or in addition to symmetric key algorithms. Unlike symmetric key algorithms, it does not require a secure initial exchange of one or more secret keys to both sender and receiver. Private key. A private key, also known as a secret key, is a variable in cryptography that is used with an algorithm to encrypt and decrypt code. Secret keys are only shared with the keys generator, making it highly secure. Private keys play an important role in symmetric cryptography, asymmetric cryptography, and cryptocurrencies. Object identifiers, OID. In computing, object identifiers or OIDs are an identifier mechanism standardized by the International Telecommunications Union, ITU, and ISO/IEC for naming any object, concept, or thing with a globally unambiguous persistent name. Concepts. Computing is any goal-oriented activity requiring, benefiting from, or creating computing machinery. It includes the study and experimentation of algorithmic processes and development of both hardware and software. Offline CA. An offline root certificate authority is a certificate authority, as defined in the SY0-501 standard and RFC 5280, which has been isolated from network access, and is often kept in a powered-down state. A common method to ensure the security and integrity of a root CA is to keep it in an offline state. Pinning. PIN is a platform for creating analysis tools. A PIN tool comprises instrumentation, analysis, and callback routines. Instrumentation routines are called when code that has not yet been recompiled is about to be run, and enable the insertion of analysis routines. Trust model. In information security, computational trust is the generation of trusted authorities or user trust through cryptography. In centralized systems, security is typically based on the authenticated identity of external parties. Key escrow. Key escrow, also known as a fair crypto system, is an arrangement in which the keys needed to decrypt encrypted data are held in escrow so that, under certain circumstances, an authorized third party may gain access to those keys. Certificate chaining. The chain of trust of a certificate chain is an ordered list of certificates, containing an end-user subscriber certificate and intermediate certificates, that represents the intermediate CA, that enables the receiver to verify that the sender and all intermediate certificates are trustworthy. Wildcard. Computing. In computer, software, technology, a wildcard is a symbol used to replace or represent one or more characters. Algorithms for matching wildcards have been developed in a number of recursive and non-recursive varieties. SAN, Subject Alternative Name. Subject Alternative Name, SAN, is an extension to X509 that allows various values to be associated with a security certificate using a subject alt name field. These values are called subject alternative names, SANs. Code signing. Code signing is the process of digitally signing executables and scripts to confirm the software author and guarantee that the code has not been altered or corrupted since it was signed. The process employs the use of a cryptographic hash to validate authenticity and integrity. Self-signed. In cryptography and computer security, a self-signed certificate is a security certificate that is not signed by a certificate authority, CA. These certificates are easy to make and do not cost money. Machine/computer. A computer is a machine that can be instructed to carry out sequences of arithmetic or logical operations automatically via computer programming. Computers are used as control systems for a wide variety of industrial and consumer devices. Email. Electronic mail, email or email, is a method of exchanging messages, mail, between people using electronic devices. User. A user is a person who utilizes a computer or network service. Users of computer systems and software products generally lack the technical expertise required to fully understand how they work. Root. In the computer world, root refers to the top-level directory of a file system. The word is derived from a tree root, since it represents the starting point of a hierarchical tree structure. Root is also the name of the user who has administrative privileges on a Unix or Linux server. Domain validation. A domain-validated certificate, DV, is an X509 digital certificate typically used for transport layer security, TLS, where the domain name of the applicant is validated by proving some control over a DNS domain. Extended validation. An extended validation certificate, EV, is a certificate conforming to X509 that proves the legal entity of the owner and is signed by a certificate authority key that can issue EV certificates. Mobile browsers typically display EV certificates the same way they do DV and OV certificates. DER, Distinguished Encoding Rules. Distinguished Encoding Rules, DER, is an ASN. Distinguished Encoding Rules is intended for applications in which a unique octet string encoding is needed, as is the case when a digital signature is computed on an ASN. One value. DER is defined in Section 8.7 of X509. PEM, Privacy Enhanced Mail. Privacy Enhanced Mail, PEM, is a de facto file format for storing and sending cryptographic keys, certificates, and other data, based on a set of 1993 IETF standards defining privacy enhanced mail. While the original standards were never broadly adopted, and were supplanted by PGP and S/MIME, the textual encoding. PFX. PKCS12, also called Personal Information Exchange Format, PFX, enables the transfer of certificates and their corresponding private keys from one computer to another or from a computer to removable media. RFC, Remote Function Call. A remote function call, RFC, is the call or remote execution of a remote function module in an external system. In the SAP system, these functions are provided by the RFC interface system. The RFC interface system enables function calls between two SAP systems. Queued RFC, QRFC. A remote function call, RFC, is the call or remote execution of a remote function module in an external system. In the SAP system, these functions are provided by the RFC interface system. The RFC interface system enables function calls between two SAP systems. Queued RFC, QRFC.